Hello, everybody.
Hi, Hadley.
Nam Azar.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, Peter, we're just running a few minutes late. There's some people that struggle to log on. If you can just ask everybody to be patient, please. I will let you know as soon as we're ready.
Okay.
Hi, Lynette.
Hi, middag, Adri. Jammer. Sorry, I had a little bit of a
How's
challenge.
that? Everything's fine. We have some
Thank
people
you.
already that's in attendance. So, Lynette, if you can just switch on your camera, we just want to check your video. Perfect. Thank you very much. You can switch it off again until Peter starts.
You'll let me know when to start.
Yes, I will, Peter. We just wait for one more panelist to join. If you could just give us like 2 minutes, please.
No, give you as much time as you need.
Thank you. Peter, I think we can start. Thank you so much.
Okay, so gotta take my glasses off so I can see. Hello, everybody. A very, very warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much indeed for joining us for this special webinar on International Childhood Cancer, as we celebrate International Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So good to have you all joined us for this live stream. And for those of you who will probably click through at a later date, we welcome you and we thank you also for joining us. I'm Peter Ndoro. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to be your host for these kinds of conversations. They're really, really close to my heart, and working with amazing people is a wonderful privilege. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, as we know, and it's a special time each year to shine a light on the profound impact that cancer has on children, adolescents, and their families around the world. And so in 2025, our campaign has been focusing on tackling the key challenges faced by childhood cancer communities everywhere. And I think we all know childhood cancer communities throughout the world have been working hard, and this year in particular, I've been working on a few things, raising global awareness about the challenges faced by childhood cancer patients, caregivers, survivors, and also healthcare professionals. Work in mobilizing the international community, including governments, NGOs, healthcare professionals, and also public to participate in the ICCD 2026. Other work, well, promoting the gold ribbon. This is a lasting global symbol of childhood cancer awareness. So a lot of work being done throughout the world, and by taking part, you too are standing alongside children, adolescents, survivors, and their families, showing solidarity, speaking out, and dare I say, inspiring hope. To tell you about CHOC, it's a non-profit organization that advocates for the health and well-being of children and teenagers that are diagnosed with cancer or life-threatening blood disorders and their families. And what CHOC does, it offers psychosocial, emotional, and practical support to try and alleviate the financial and emotional strain that the journey brings. Well, today we honor our founder members, Julian and Sadie Cutland, who had the drive and the vision to ensure that families go through this journey, don't go through it alone. And I've got to say that as a parent who's been there before, Julian wrote in the CHOC Parent Handbook, you've just started one of those periods in your life that you'll always remember, and probably thought that something like this would never happen to your child, or perhaps you believed that it was your right that your child would grow into adulthood with only the occasional illness or broken limb. And this, of course, is what we all hope. And you probably never anticipated an illness that could take your child's life. Well, now you know differently, and like most of parents who've been down this path, then your outlook on life will probably be changed forever from this week onwards. And what will happen is that you'll need to develop your own methods for coping, depending on your own personal situation. However, you may find the following guidelines useful as a starting point. And I guess the key and what's being written and what's been said is to be honest and open about the illness to your relations and friends, to your child's school, to your employers, but most of all to yourselves, as well as your children. And we sincerely hope that you find strength in yourself, your family, your friends to go through this, grow through this very difficult time. And during the hashtag Gold September 2025, the theme has been inspiring action. Previously, we honored children and teenagers for their courage, the medical team who worked tirelessly to ensure that patients receive the best possible medical care. And what we did, we spoke to the CHOC staff whose journeys with the patients and families on a daily basis, holding their hands to support them on this unknown and life-changing journey. So I guess the question is, what about the mother and the father? Yeah, the parents who sit with the child in and year in and year out, who see the suffering and the loss that these children are going through. And what about CHOC managers in South Africa who not only manage regions, but also journey with the parents on a daily basis. Well, today, in celebration of all the children and teens with cancer or a life-threatening blood disorder and their families, we'll be in conversation with parents whose child has survived, parents who lost a child, and two CHOC regional managers whose journeys with the parents on a daily basis. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation because we're going to meet some fascinating people. And I'm hoping that their stories and their contributions will help inspire. And that's really what these conversations are about. And so I want to start with Lynette Muthere. And I hope I said that name right, Lynette. She's a regional manager for CHOC Western Cape and Namakwa, and her journey with CHOC started in 2012, 2013 as a fundraiser. And she left CHOC for a short while to work for the IEC in 2016. I hope your candidate won. And she was appointed a regional manager. So Lynette brings with her not only valuable experience, but also deep compassion, I think, for children and families facing childhood cancer journeys. Under her leadership, the region continues to grow, ensuring that more children and families receive the care and support they need. Lynette is married and has a 15-year-old daughter. They think they're adults, don't they, Lynette?
I agree. They do.
So have you. Thank you so much indeed for the work that you're doing. And yeah, so nice to be able to talk to you. Welcome.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
So tell us a little bit about your role. Describe your role in supporting parents with children with cancer.
So I'm based in the CHOC Western Cape region, and our region is known as the CHOC Western Cape and Namakwa region. And my role is to oversee the services and programs that CHOC renders to the pediatric oncology units and children and families in the broader Western Cape, and to oversee the very valuable relationships that we have with the pediatric oncology units and some private institutions. And yeah, in a nutshell, it's to oversee all of our services and programs in the broader Western Cape region.
And what motivated you to join this foundation?
CHOC's a very beautiful cause, as you just alluded to. It was started by a lovely couple, and there was a personal sense of fulfillment for me and a personal connection to the work that CHOC does, as I also believe in that when you work, you serve, and you need to make an important difference in the work that you're doing. And for CHOC, when I joined CHOC, I did feel, and I do feel it on a daily basis, that the work that CHOC does is meaningful. It makes a difference. It has a sense of personal fulfillment and purpose to it. And being part of the broader CHOC team and seeing the impact that it makes in the lives of the families gives a person as me a sense of fulfillment to be part of that greater impact that CHOC's making in the country.
And how do you usually connect with parents? Is it hospital visits, support groups, events? How do you connect?
There are various ways that we connect with parents on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Firstly, through the pediatric oncology units, there are many, many outpatients that we meet on a weekly, daily basis who some have been on a long journey, some have been on a short journey. We meet parents that have also walked a long journey through our CHOC houses, which is our home away from home accommodation. Parents whose lives you really almost connect with them at a deeper level when you meet them in the CHOC houses, as it's their second home away from home. We've also met parents of survivors who shared their beautiful journey with CHOC. Some of the children have been part of the CHOC Survivor program also for many years, and these parents have also become friends over the years. We've met parents that are bereaved parents that have stayed in touch with CHOC. So it's truly parents we've been part, as CHOC, we've been part on various aspects of their journey whether it be while on treatment or even post-treatment, whether it be when they become survivors or at times when children pass on. So it's very meaningful, and it touches our lives on a daily basis to see the resilience and the strength showcased by so many of our parents.
And I'm guessing that it's certainly, whilst it's rewarding and inspiring work, it does come with its challenges, doesn't it? Tell us a little bit about some of those challenges and how you try to overcome them.
There are many challenges. There are external challenges, as you know, that you face, that a family faces, and at times we cannot meet every need that a family faces. When a child is diagnosed, the child is diagnosed in the middle of all the socioeconomic challenges that a community in South Africa faces, that a family faces. And at times when you hear and you see that there are so many challenges, there are crime in our communities, parents go back to challenging situations, it's very difficult to reach every parent. Our services makes a meaningful impact, but it's also difficult to meet every need that a parent has. It's saddened to hear that many parents need to be unemployed for long periods of time to be with their child during treatment. But you know, we find hope in not only in the appreciation and gratitude showed by the parents, but in the resilience showed by the children. They are our heroes because they are so strong and they endure so much, but yet they just want to be free. They just want to be children. And I think it's important when you work in a caring organization to have a support base, whether it be family, friends, fellow colleagues. Your support base makes a difference to overcome the challenges. So there are challenges in our communities that the families faces, which becomes hard to view. But when you see them overcoming and, you know, going through the journey with strength and with endurance, it brings us hope, yes.
Yeah, I mean, what are some of the things that parents tell you about the support that they get, just so that, you know, other parents know that there's such a rich vein of help?
Wow, there are so many. Just to think back, there are so many stories parents have shared. I remember meeting, if I might share quickly, a parent who was from Mossel Bay and who came to Red Cross Children's Hospital for treatment. And she saw our tea morning, our ward volunteers regularly. And during her time, I never had the opportunity to meet her. And when she returned to Mossel Bay, she called our office and she said there were volunteers that would just touch on her shoulder and say, thank you. Thank you for, she would say to them, thank you for the cup of tea. And they would say to her, endure, don't give up, have faith. And she just called to say thank you. And the child is now a survivor. So there are many parents who email, who call. We've had parents write us letters when they are discharged and the child is doing well. There are children who draw pictures of the CHOC buses that would transport them in and out of the hospital, and with a heart to say, I will always love CHOC. But there are so many narratives to share from parents, siblings, extended family that have said so much, have shared so much gratitude to CHOC for supporting them during this difficult journey. And that's been such a blessing to be part of.
And I guess the golden message there is that they're not alone. There is help, amazing help with people like you. Lynette, it really has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much indeed. And
Thank you so
never
much.
tired doing good. Keep up the work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Lynette. Lovely work that she's doing. Lynette Muthere, Regional Manager for CHOC Western Cape and Namakwa, and telling us about her experiences. Okay, so let's continue with our conversations and meeting different people. And now we're going to chat to a past board chairman of CHOC and Childhood Cancer Foundation South Africa, Negama Zara, who's a past board chair of CHOC, Childhood Cancer Foundation, also a parent to a childhood cancer survivor, financial planner and wealth manager, and his wife, Heloise, a property professional who's journeyed with CHOC for more than a decade. Young Nagam was diagnosed with childhood cancer in 1992, and during his treatment, CHOC was there to support the family emotionally And ever since, the Azar couple have been a pillar of strength for CHOC and have given a lot of their time and expertise to the organization. Thank you so much for joining us, both of you. Welcome. Hello, are you there?
Can you hear me, Peter?
I can. Is that Nagam?
That's Najum speaking, and Heloise is here
Najam.
with me.
I knew that I needed to think about how to say the name. You get thrown by the way it's spelled, but so good to have you. Thank you for joining us. And Heloise, hi, how are you?
I'm well, and you, Peter?
Good. Heloise, maybe you can tell me about the moment you first learned about your child's diagnosis.
There's the videos on. Sorry.
There you go.
Hi. Well, I believe I only have 2 minutes, so that is very difficult. Well, first of all, my heart stopped. Then my world stopped. And then a bubble surrounded me that I couldn't escape from. Your mother instinct kicked in and said, how could I protect my child from whatever is happening with him? Needles, doctors, people touching, x-rays, and then you realize there's nothing you can do. And then the questions of what could I have done to prevent it? How could I have done it better? Am I at fault? And then the realization that you are now in it and you've got to move forward. And now you're thinking, is my child going to survive? Am I going to survive? Is my marriage going to survive? Because I'm not sure what this is, because this is a world unknown to both of us. So yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine how that journey begins, but we'll talk about what happens on that journey now. Najam, what kind of support did you receive from family, friends, or community to help you once this journey began?
Well, Peter, we are both very fortunate that we come from a very strong family from both of our sides. So our family was surrounding us and loving us all the time. Our community, especially our church, was very supportive. One of the things that happened is that the minister that married us, that also christened me as a baby, and
Wow.
and the minister of our church at the time, on the morning when our son Najum had to have his first operation, actually came and joined us at Charlotte Maclake, and we went into the chapel at the bottom, and we all prayed together. So that was fantastic. And of course, there were the volunteer ladies in those days. CHOC didn't have all the services that it provides today, but the volunteer ladies, Julian, Sue, as an example, I have to mention their names, were there. And I remember them taking me by my hand and walking me through the clinic and through the ward and making me familiar with it. And not saying much, but just walking with me. So they were there already as volunteers, absolutely wonderful. And of course, the two of us, Heloise and myself, we just focused on our son. It was our only child at the time. We didn't focus on each other. And that's how the journey went. But fortunately, with the support of family, community, and the support in the ward and in the clinic from the doctors, from the sisters, the nurses, they were all fantastic. And of course, the volunteers of CHOC.
So, Heloise, you told us about learning the news for the first time and the diagnosis. Tell us about how that changed over time once you were on the journey especially with the kind of help and support that you got. How was the rest of the story?
Well, I think I had an angel next to me that walked with me on this path. And guiding me through this, because the scary part is the doctors coming and going, not understanding what they're saying, faces in and out of the ward, prodding your child. And then you have the people of CHOC surrounding you and just trying to make you understand what is actually going on. Can you hear me, Peter?
We can hear you.
We can hear you now. Yes, carry on.
Okay. I mean, I remember his first operation. They walked with me down to theatre, and they took me as close to theatre as I was allowed to go. And I just sat there. And she just sat with me. And we never spoke a word, because there was nothing to say, because she couldn't answer my questions. And I didn't know how to verbalize what I felt. And we just sat there until he came out of theatre. And that's the type of thing that took us through this journey.
So, Najam, there's the external help that you get, but I guess there's the challenge of making sure that you look after each other and your family. Tell us about that journey.
Well, we didn't really look after each other. I can confess that, unfortunately, because we were only focused on one thing. We were very fortunate that we had assistance in our family. We had a wonderful woman, a lady by the name of Mama Sutu, that worked for us as well. And she just loved all our babies. She was a woman made to look after children. And we were fortunate enough for her, as an example, to be at the clinic in the day when he was at the hospital or in the ward. And then when we made turns to be with him while he was being treated, she would go home with either myself or Louise and so forth. So we had that kind of support, and of course we had to work. And I'll give you a little story. I mean, we would come into the hospital at night, and then the nurses or the doctors would say, "Oh, your child was so difficult today." And then we would ask Mama Sutu, "So why didn't you phone us?" And she would say, "What are you going to do about it when you're there at work? You're working. I'm here with Mohali is his name. His Sutu name is Mohali. I'm here with Mohali. I'm looking after him." And of course, forever grateful for a person like her in our life. That made the journey more possible. Not everybody has that, and we were fortunate that we could have that. So yeah, lucky in a way, I would say.
Yeah. Heloise, what would you tell other parents who maybe have just received this diagnosis?
Do you know what I found, Peter? That information is power. And the way to cope with it, and I know we're all different as parents, but a way to cope with it is when a doctor comes in and tries and explain to you, is to either write it down. Nowadays, we're lucky we can record it on our phones. Because of your emotional state, your fear, your anxiety, you hear things that are not really said. And that you at night can sit and try and absorb and listen to what the doctors are saying. Try and make sense of it. I felt that I needed truth. doesn't matter how bad, I needed that truth to be able to comprehend and move forward. And I think every mother needs the truth. They don't want a shock. Obviously, to spend as much time as you can with your child, but also to take a break, to be with your husband, to hold tight onto each other, which we didn't. We all went our separate ways. You know, to have grace for your partner,
Yeah.
but also to have that one person that at the end of the day, that you actually can just spew what you feel inside, so that tomorrow morning you can get up lighter and have the courage to tackle the day. So that would be my advice, and to hold on tightly, because this is a rough ride.
Yeah, yeah. Najam, what message of hope do you have, I think, for families perhaps still going through treatment?
Well, you know, the motto of CHOC is keeping hope alive. Now, I'll tell a story like this. When we heard at the hospital that our son had this mass in he had liver cancer and so forth, Heloise was quite shocked. And in those days, there were no cell phones, so she went to the tiki box and she phoned her brother. And all I could hear was her saying, "You have to come because my son is going to die." And I grabbed the phone out of her hand and sadly, quite aggressively said to her, "In your life, you will never say those words again." Because, and from there on, we moved on with hope, because we always had hope. You don't know what's going to happen. We were fortunate that our son was diagnosed reasonably early. He had a cancer that could be cured, although it was very rare, and the other child that was diagnosed before him was not cured. But we didn't know those things, but we just had hope. And you know, I have faith as well. I'm a child of God. Jesus is my savior. So that is where my hope lies every day. And hold on to each other, hold on to your faith, hold on to the information that you're getting, because there's always the sun that comes up in the next morning. However bad the day was that you just lived through today. Hold on to that.
Wow, Najam and Heloise, it's been a wonderful pleasure talking to both of you, and your messages, I think, very powerful. One that's standing out for me is that couples really need to look after each other through this time, and accept the support and the help from the people around you that are there to help and support. And that together, as a collective, with all the help, but especially with each other, it is something that you can go through together, and giving each other hope. Thank you for such a powerful message.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. That's Heloise and Najam with again a powerful story, and I'm getting this continual message now coming through, is that you're not alone. You don't need to be alone, and there's help out there in abundance to take you through this. And the people that will help you know exactly what to do. They're not new to this, and so you don't have to figure it out all by yourself. They're there to assist, and information we're hearing also very key. So let's meet another amazing personality. And for this one, we go to KwaZulu-Natal. And this is the regional manager of KwaZulu-Natal, CHOC Childhood Cancer Foundation here in South Africa. More than 15 years ago, Aggie Govender started as the regional manager of CHOC KZN, and as a social worker by profession with a master's degree and nearly 40 years of experience in the NGO sector. Her journey has always been rooted in purpose and service. And I've got to tell you that Aggie has a deep understanding of what it means to lead with empathy, resilience, and strategy. And her true passion lies in guiding people to excel, not only professionally, but in their personal journeys too. And she's grounded in warmth, empathy, and genuineness. She's married and has a daughter and 2 grandchildren, Aggie. Welcome.
Thank you, Peter.
The grandchildren must be a joy, hey?
An absolute pleasure.
So, so many years in the NGO sector. So you really have been of service to people throughout your working career, pretty much.
Pretty much. I always say to myself, why did I choose a profession that had work in it? I mean, I didn't know better. And I went to register for law and I ended up choosing social work. How about that?
Wow, that is fascinating. So,
fascinating.
Tell us a little bit about what you've learned personally working with parents of children with cancer.
You know, I really had to ponder this and, think about what have I learned. And one of the things that I've learned is that parents who've been through this journey have this amazing resilience within their soul. It's something that they don't ask for. And with a child with cancer, it's not lifestyle. And, parents who experience this end up digging really deep and finding a sense of they can do it, living one day at a time. And I've experienced parents never ever forget that first, when the news is first broken to them. And even though they go through the journey and even though their children may survive as well, there's this continuous worry in their mind every time their child is sick, so no matter how old their child is as well, even as an adult. So, looking at parents, I have this deep sense of empathy for their journey that they go through. It's not a journey that ends, Peter. It's a continuation.
I can only imagine that this kind of work and working with families going through these difficult journeys must affect your outlook on life generally and what resilience means.
Yes. Personally, for me, joining CHOC, this is actually my 16th year now, and comparing it to the fields of service that I've never experienced in my life working with children and families on the cusp of life and death. Really, on a daily basis, you never know what to experience with your child. And for me, it gave me perspective that my bad day is nothing compared to people who I'm working with, who walk along the journey. I mean, people like Najim, who you just interviewed, people that I see and I speak to, always constantly being aware that whatever I'm going through is nothing. It really gives you perspective when you are having a bad day. You've got flu and you see a child with experiencing a life-threatening blood disorder. Another thing as well, it's given me a deep sense of faith. Watching parents go through this journey and watching them have so much hope. Peter, there was one child was in life support. The child was on life support. There was nothing. You knew that child, if they turned off the machines, this child is not going to make it. But every day I spoke to the mother. She said, my child is going to make it. There's an action that happens with the eye. It just opens up in a half motion. And every time she would come to me and she'd say, my child can see me. He knows I'm there. And what, listening to that parent just made me feel that no matter how sick a child is, no parent wants that child to be gone. So watching that faith in action has given me a sense of a privilege in this environment. I'm privileged to be in this environment.
Gosh, and you know, one just gets the sense that every day some kind of miracle is happening, no matter how small, and the big ones as well are things that you're probably coming across every single day.
Every single day, there's not a day goes by that there's a staff member who's not moved by tears, by watching a situation, that seeing a child or parent in any part of this journey. Every day is something that is special. You know, there's nothing that's, again, a privilege to be in this environment.
Yeah. I am pretty sure that throughout your 16 years, there are loads of stories, success stories. Maybe you can share one that has stood out for you, maybe that you can think of, where your support made a big difference to the family, just so that people can understand and get a sense of what help is out there and what it can do.
Yes, so many stories to talk about, but there's one story that really stands out in my mind. It was maybe I just began in CHOC about 15 years ago. I was working late in the evening. It must have been about 6-ish in the evening. And so I'm the regional manager of KwaZulu-Natal, but my base is at the CHOC Lodge at Inkosi Albert Lutuli Central Hospital. And this is a residential facility that we have a lodge in. And I looked out of the window, I was busy typing, and I looked out of the window and I saw this woman looking quite lost. And something in me just said, open the door and, ask her what's going on, if I can help. So I opened the door and I said to her, can I help you? You look quite lost. Can I direct you? Maybe you need the hospital or our residential manager in the building. And she said, no, I don't know where to sleep tonight. I just don't know where to sleep tonight. I need a space to sleep. I'm feeling so disconnected. So I said, okay, what's wrong with your child? And she said, my child has cancer and my child is in the teenage ward and I don't know what to do. I'm all the way from Harding. I don't have any idea. And I said, well, you've come to the right place. We are CHOC Childhood Cancer Foundation and we accommodate parents to be with their children. And she came in and she just sunk into the chair that I said, just sit. And she said, I didn't really realize that I could, you'd support me. I said, yes, no, you're welcome. She said, I don't have anywhere to go tonight. I don't have any family here. I'm really stuck. And I said, you're so welcome to stay with us. And that story stuck with me because she stayed here for nearly a year for treatment with her son. Her son would come here for his treatment and he would always come in and sit in one of our rooms. And whenever I saw him, I would say, Austin, would you please fix the television? Like an older grandparent, please fix my remote. And he would say, not a problem. He was this tall, lanky young man and he would fix it. Yeah. He unfortunately did not survive the journey. His journey had come to an end. It had come to an end. But with her, our relationship continued. And I always think of her and I think if I hadn't stayed in late that night, if she hadn't run past me, what would her circumstances have been?
Wow. And those are the miracles that we talk about every single day. And we don't know where they're coming from and how they'll work out. But somehow there's a little bit of magic dust that falls just at the right place at the right time. Perhaps the last question, what do parents often say they appreciate most about CHOC support and care programs?
Yesterday, we had our head office program support manager with us in KZN for 2 days. And we walked to Gray's Hospital, we walked into the ward and we were just chatting with the parents, how are you? And the thing is, when you're in Durban, I visit Pietermaritzburg once a week, you don't have access to the parents all the time. So it was really wonderful seeing the parents. We also have language barriers, Language barriers are a real thing. But so when I walked into the ward, I was greeting the parents and saying, so good to see you. Are you staying at CHOC? And they said, yes. And the one mother said to me, thank you so much for having us at CHOC. You know, for me, it's a home away from my home. And, you know, that's the tagline for us. We say our residence, our accommodation is a home away from home. And I don't even know how she hooked onto that. She says, thank you. It's a home away from home. I came in, I was so desperate, and I could have a hot shower and I could have a warm meal, and I was so happy to be there. Parents are always grateful. You know, we used to give food hampers, Peter. Can you imagine a parent coming in for the day to the clinic, going home, going as far as maybe Bergville, carrying this massive hamper with medication with a child in a taxi? And now we've transitioned to vouchers. And this parent said to me, thank you so much. I can now carry this big bag of medicine and a voucher in my handbag, hold my child's hand, and I'm so comfortable. Be so happy that you've seen our need. And, you know, we're so grateful for our parents who can benefit from our service. Our parents are really struggling. And so listening to these parents in the ward gave me a sense of warmth. I said, at least we're doing something that makes a difference to these families who are in such dire straits.
Aggie, yours and many of the warriors at CHOC, really, really great stories. And thank you for the work that you're doing and for sticking it through and being that hope and help and support that our parents and children need. Thank you so much for your 16 years. Wow.
It's a pleasure. It's a dream, a teamwork that makes the dream work, right?
Absolutely. I love that. I love that a lot. Thank you so much, Aggie Govender. She's the Regional Manager, KwaZulu-Natal at CHOC Childhood Cancer Foundation, South Africa, telling us some of her story, 16 years she's been at it, and how rewarding it has been for her, and some of those magical stories that happen every single day when parents are helped, children are helped through the work that they do. Right, let's meet Thabo Mukebe now, who's a parent of the late Regile Mukebe. Regile was diagnosed with non-Hodgkinson lymphoma on the 22nd of May 2019 and walked the journey with their daughter until her passing away on the 3rd of October in the same year, 2019. After the passing of their beloved daughter, the couple, Thabo and his wife, Wanki, they have been involved in efforts to support and assist children and families affected by cancer and other blood disorders. Both of them are involved with CHOC, with Thabo being the chairperson of the CHOC Northern Regional Committee, and his wife, in Essentia, being a volunteer for CHOC. Thabo, thank you very, very much indeed for joining us, and welcome.
Peter, I'm afraid Wangi and Thabo just I think they lost connection.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll try and get them again later.
Yes, we'll try and get them later. I think you can speak to to Headley.
Okay. All right. Headley, the man that sits in the chair that is CEO of CHOC, leading this amazing team of people. I guess your job, as difficult as it is in providing services, must be really rewarding to have such amazing people working as part of your team across the country.
No, thanks so much, Peter. I think that the main thing is you've heard so many of the voices, and the way CHOC evolves is, one, we're very privileged to have members of our board and excos like Najim and his wife Eloise that really assist us with the trajectory, supporting, engaging, giving us that sense of, are we on the right path? Are we really making a difference? Have we made an impact? And then looking at the team, I mean, you've heard the phenomenal heroes, Aggie and Lynette, who really, I think that they're really truly humble individuals from both the regions. But I think that, you know, for me, it's really a privilege. And people say, well, is it hard to assist and to support CHOC? Is it hard to lead? Truthfully, I'm only as good as this team that you've seen. It's the angels and their wings that we can all soar together on. It is Aggie and Lynette that really support and walk the journey with these families together with their teams in the regions, whether it's the drivers, the social workers. It is their ability to really be on the grassroots, support the families, making sure that we're reducing the anxiety and stresses just a little bit. And at the same time, making sure that the possibility of new innovative opportunities, as Aggie alluded to, where we used to do food parcels, now moving to voucher systems. It's about how do we evolve, how do we support? But at the end of the day, it's creating hope. Hope which is part of the unity, hope which is created by all 90 members of our team that really come together to create that beacon for every one of these families, and hoping to really support them through a journey, as Eloise and Najim's really eloquently has said it, but shows the pain and the anguish from the minute you hear those words of your child has cancer to whatever the journey may continue to. So for us at CHOC, it's about saying, really, firstly, thank you very much to these families for giving us the opportunity to support them, to thank the pediatric oncologists and the medical fraternity for really giving us the opportunity for augmenting, for being able to say to our government that we are there to support. And then finally, it's really a privilege on this webinar is to say thank you to my team, a team that travels every single day with these families. And that privilege is really an opportunity in a lifetime. So thank you very much, Peter.
Peter, you're on mute.
There we go. Thank you to you, Headley, and your team for not tiring, doing this great work that you do. And I think the testimony of the parents speaks volumes of the value and the importance of that work. I think we may have Wanky on the line. Is that correct? Wanky, are you there? Hello, Innocentia, can you hear me? Hi, Innocentia, I can see you. Can you hear me? You're on mute, Innocentia. Unmute your microphone. Hello, Innocentia. Can you see on the bottom left hand of your screen, right on the end, at the left, there's a microphone there that you need to click. Oh, still on mute. Oh, is it on, off? Oh dear. Am I the only one not hearing her, or?
I think she's got a sound problem,
Okay.
Peter. And essentially, has a beautiful story, and we're very sorry to miss her. But unfortunately, it sounds like we'll have to use it at the next event. I'm so sorry, Innocentia. Next time.
Okay, and I just to say to you, Innocentia, we know about your story, and I think it's been incredibly brave for you to carry on with the work that you're doing, and contributing in the way that you're doing. And we thank you so much, and other children. Thank you so much indeed. So a big clap from us as we send you lots of love. Thank you so much indeed. All right, I guess that's where we'll bring this to an end then. Thank you once again for joining us. Those of you that could join us live. And I think there's a lot of you that are probably going to catch this broadcast later on that click through. Thank you so much indeed for clicking through. Just a few thoughts. If you have any questions or you need to refer a child who may have cancer, then please visit the CHOC website. That's www.chalk.org.za and refer a child, and they will contact you. The team will pick up the phone, get that email, and they'll connect with you. And so your journey of support and help will begin straight away. And also click on the events and see any upcoming webinars that you might be able to click through and register for. So for me, it's been a great pleasure again being your host for these important conversations. And to you, the warriors and the champions that we're celebrating, well done on the work that you're doing. Keep strong, be amazing. You're changing a lot of people's lives. And the young people who perhaps are on this journey, keep fighting, and promise you're going to score those centuries and do amazing things with your lives. You've got a lot of people that love you, that are around you, that are going to take you on this journey. And to the parents, yeah, it's difficult hearing those words, but you're not alone. There are people that are there to help you. So take those hands, let them hold you, let them support you. You're not alone. And also take care of each other. Everybody, take care. We'll see you at the next conversation. Bye-bye.